Hello, this is Jonathan Osborne, and I'm reporting live for the Compost here at University of Texas at Arlington. I'm here with a professor who is actually a specialist in the Department of Communications, Roby McEwen, and today we're going to find out a little bit of interesting facts and how you like being a teacher, and also about some later things of owning his own business. All right, Professor Roby, the first question I want to ask is actually, how did you get into teaching?
Well, that's a good question. I started a long time ago as an adjunct at Texas Wesleyan University, and then I taught for 6 years as an occasional faculty at TCU, and then I've been here at UTA for about 12, 13 years. 6 or 7 of those were in the Art and Art History department, and the rest has been here in the Department of Communication. So started out by just doing a single class at a time, and it's just kind of built from there.
Okay. And when you actually first started off with your own education, where did you actually go?
I went to Oklahoma State Institute of Technology, which is in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and in 2008 got my master's in advertising design from Syracuse University. So,
So you moved around a lot.
well, I did. OSU, at the time that I went there, was called OSU Tech, was actually a trade school. It's a technical school. And I learned how to produce advertising, graphic design, not only how to design it, but how to get it off the end of the press. And so when I came out into the work world, which my first job was here in Fort Worth, they actually were looking for somebody that had 2 to 3 years experience, and I got the job coming straight out of college. So that was pretty unusual, and I was really happy about that, to have a real job.
Right. And I guess my second question is, were you always aspired to be into the communication graphics, or was it something else that you want to do before this, before you actually got into this field?
No, I've always been had a lot of passion about art and design, and even when I was in junior high and high school, one of the ways that I made money was doing custom T-shirts and other kinds of artwork for my fellow classmates, and they'd pay me money for it. And so I've always had a bent towards advertising, graphic design, doing things with artwork to make a living, to make money.
Okay, sounds good. And I guess my next question is, leading from there, did that actually give you the mindset to actually be an entrepreneur and start your own business?
Well, when I graduated from Oklahoma State Tech, and that would have been in 1980, I did want to have my own business. Yeah, I knew that coming out of college. And I worked for a year for an advertising agency here in Fort Worth, and then I worked for a year for a graphic design firm in Fort Worth. And the way that everything worked out was in the graphic design firm, we had 2 offices, one in Austin and one in Fort Worth, and me and another young designer were running the office in Fort Worth, and they were getting ready after a year to close the Fort Worth office. So I had the opportunity to basically keep all those clients and keep moving forward, or go get a job with somebody else. And so I decided to do the former, and before I was 21, I had accomplished my long-term goal that was on my resume, which was to own and operate my own graphic design firm. And it was just being in the right place at the right time.
Okay. And going from there, oh, I'm sorry, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Roby's business, here's his business card. Roby Graphics. It's actually a full functioning advertising agency. And what advice do you have to students that actually want to, I guess, do the same thing, be an entrepreneur and start their own business?
Well, first, not everyone is cut out to be self-employed or to be an entrepreneur. You really have to have a lot of courage and belief in yourself to be able to be self-employed. So some people are actually probably better off working for somebody else, or at least working for somebody else until they get to the point where they have enough knowledge about the industry and enough knowledge about how to work with clients and enough knowledge about how to deliver the services that clients need in order to be able to start their own business. Um, Advice for starting your own business. That's pretty much it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to have some talent, and you got to have a lot of drive and a lot of energy. Almost all of the people that I know that are self-employed have a very great deal amount of energy. They work all the time, and they love what they do. And so I would say you got to have passion for your industry and for what you do, because that's, you're going to get up every morning and you're going to go do it. And if you don't love it, it's going to be pretty hard to get out of bed. And this is a hard industry, so it can beat you up pretty bad. And if you don't love it, you're not going to be long for it. So especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you've got to be willing to deal with billing, you got to be willing to deal with insurance, got to be willing to deal with all the things that are on the business side of the business, as well as be able to do the creative and be able to do the account service and be able to talk to people and sell yourself. So you really kind of have to be maybe a little bit crazy to be self-employed in this industry, and it doesn't hurt. And you got to be willing to have a little bit of fun. So I think if I went back and had it all to do over again, I probably wouldn't have gone out on my own quite so soon. I would have liked to have had a little more exposure and a little more mentoring from people that had been doing this longer than I had at the time before I got into running my own business. So I could have seen more and experienced a lot of different kinds of work and relationships with clients. I think that would have been nicer. So I probably would have, it's not every day that somebody drops a business off in your lap, so I kind of had to do it. And if I could have worked another 5 years for somebody else, I would have been a little more confident. But I didn't. Wasn't that I lacked confidence. I was pretty much thought I was bulletproof anyway. So, I just could have used a little more experience about how do you handle media, how do you handle contracts, how do you write agreements and that sort of thing with clients. And you don't learn that except by being exposed to it through working for other people.
Okay, and I guess my last question is that you said you have to be a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard before that if you want to start your own business or you're an entrepreneur, is that you talk about the idea in your head all the time, kind of like you are kind of crazy.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So you have to be a little bit off to go out on your own.
Well,
Or
yeah, I think so. I think there's you have to believe that you have something special to offer your potential customers, and you have to believe that you're good enough to do what it is that you say you're going to do, and you have to believe that that people are going to pay you to do what it is that you want to do, and that's it is a little crazy to kind of think that way. Most people don't think that way. Most people would rather have a 9 to 5, draw a paycheck, go home, 2 kids, garage, car, nice home, wife, husband, the whole family thing. And I would say that people that are entrepreneurs or self-employed in this business are risk takers, and so that seems crazy to a lot of people. So they're basically mavericks, and have a really strong sense about what it is that they want to do and who they are.
All right. Well, thank you again, Mr. Roby, and again, this is Jonathan Osborne reporting live for the Compost for Mr. Roby McEwen, who is, I guess, a teacher, a professor by trade, and has a passion for creative design, owning his own business, being an entrepreneur. Thank you, and have a nice day.